You know what I hate? I hate when these so-called tough love dating gurus try to give you all of this advice about what to do to attract love in your 40s, and they're just telling you a bunch of hoops that you have to jump through and why you're not going to attract love, and just speaking all of these, basically speaking destruction to your divine dream of having your soulmate. So today, we're going to bust through some of those soul crushing myths and lies, and we're going to talk about how to really attract your soulmate in your 40s and beyond. Hi, love. I'm Carisa Montooth, love coach and energy healer, creator of the Soul Love Method course, helping high vibe single women heal their hearts and attract love. And today we are talking about 3 things that you can do to increase your chances of finding love after 40. So, have you ever heard some celebrity dating guru or popular YouTuber or some other kind of a so-called quote-unquote love expert talk to you about how if you are over 40, then you need to be at a certain weight to attract love, or you have to look like Halle Berry or something like that. And, essentially what these people are doing is they're speaking death and destruction over your dreams. And one thing I want you to understand is, even though that is kind of couched in this way of like, I'm just giving it to you straight, I'm just giving you this tough love advice, I'm telling you what nobody else will tell you, it's actually a bunch of crap. Because anybody who is speaking destruction and scarcity into your life and into your dreams, anybody who is trying to convince you that you are not enough as you are, they're not actually respecting your value, and they don't really deserve to have your ear or to have a place in your mental council, to be part of your decision-making process, or a part of the gallery of advisors that you trust to speak to your heart. So please keep that in mind, because a lot of these people are just out here preying on the insecurities of women, because, let's be honest, American women are some of the most insecure women in the Western world, right? And so to prey on the insecurities of a woman, especially after we've already set her up as a society to believe that she decreases in her value somehow at 40 as this arbitrary kind of a number. That's a very easy thing for unscrupulous people to do, is to just cash in on the fact that society has been teaching women forever that they are going to get too old to be loved, that they're going to get too old to be married, that 40, if you haven't achieved certain things by 40, achieved certain milestones in your life by 40, even the idea of saying that we achieve these milestones, right? Marriage isn't an achievement, right? But it's like our society is set up in this way that we've created this idea that 40 is where your value begins to decrease as a woman. So I wanted to speak to that today, and I actually wanted to talk about how your chances of getting married are actually very, very, very good if you focus on 3 things. And those are the 3 things that we're going to talk about today. And they have nothing to do with looking like Halle Berry, okay? And before I kind of get into that, I wanted to talk a little bit about how, you really don't need to be worried about statistics and things like that out there, because you don't need for there to be, 100 single men for every 100 single women. You just need to do what you need to do to clear out the obstacles in your own energy and your own limiting beliefs, so that you can bring in your person who's right for you. That's your work. That's all that you need to do. So avoid focusing a lot on the statistics. Avoid listening to these doomsday dating gurus. Just kind of throw all of that out the window. And here's what you can actually give your time and energy and attention to so that you can heal your heart and actually attract love at 40 and beyond. Okay? So number one, start healing your insecurities about your worthiness, about your attractiveness, and about your age now. So if this is something that you've been struggling with for a while, but you've never quite got a handle on it, and you've noticed that it exposes you to some really sketchy relationship patterns and situations where you find that you're settling for less than what you know you deserve to have, or that you have achieved a certain level in your life, but you're settling for partners who don't quite match where you are because you're worried that that the men who match you are, scarce and there aren't a lot of them around. This is something you're going to want to get a hold of now. You're going to want to really start healing and clearing this out now for 3 big reasons. 1, you deserve to be happy, and you deserve to be happy right now. Whether your relationship is here, in 5 days, or whether it's here in 5 weeks, or whether it's here in 5 months, you deserve right now in this moment to be happy. And so that's one of the big reasons to be able to focus on healing and releasing these insecurities about your worth, your attractiveness, your age, whether you are desirable as a partner, being a single mother, all of these kinds of things. This is the time to begin clearing those things out of your energy now, or to dive deeper and really make a commitment to doing that. Another reason that you want to do that is because you're going to avoid making mistakes out of loneliness or desperation. If you can clear out these things, then you really will be able to make your decisions about love and relationships from a much more solid and stable place. The third reason why you want to do this is because you're going to be cultivating the quality of self-confidence. And according to Alison Armstrong, and as I've seen over and over and over again in my work, with hundreds of women, and she's worked with thousands of women and couples and interviewed, thousands of men and all of this, emotionally healthy men say that the most, and they show in their actions, that the most attractive quality to them in women is self-confidence. And there are a couple of reasons for this. An emotionally healthy man wants to be able to give to you and have it matter. Okay? So if you are in a place of self-confidence and you don't need to be rescued, then whatever he gives to you it's not like trying to fill a bottomless hole. It's like he's giving to you, and whatever he's giving to you is kind of like this beautiful overflow, and you're someone who is already happy. And that makes him feel fantastic because he knows that he can pretty easily start out from the beginning making you happy. That you are a person who can be, whose happiness he can impact in a really positive way right from the beginning. So that's a really important thing. And speaking of Alison Armstrong, you're going to want to check out her book, Making Sense of Men, if this is something that you want to dive into a little bit more deeply, because she does list the 5 qualities that that men are attracted to in terms of like wanting to have a deep relationship with a woman versus a physical only relationship with a woman. And you can find a link to that in the description of my video. Okay, so we know that we want to start healing these insecurities and these feelings of unworthiness, these insecurities we have about age, about being a single mother, about intimidating men by being maybe too successful, all these kinds of things that usually start coming up in our 40s. But how do we do that? So I want to talk about 3 ways to do that. One is that we want to create a daily practice of self-care and self-love. That does not have to mean manicures. It does not mean going out on a shopping spree. Those things are all great, and you can absolutely do those things if you want to. But self-care is things like having good boundaries for yourself and being able to say no. And a good way to create a self-love practice is to dive into the work of Louise Hay. She has a 21-day mirror program in her book Mirror Work, which really helps you to create a deep sense of self-love and to be able to let go of some of these insecurities, because that's the antidote. The antidote to insecurity is self-love. So I'll have a link to her book Mirror Work also in the description for this video. Another way that you can do this is by beginning to listen to self-esteem audios at night. This is super powerful because when you can listen to audios at night that are bringing positive messages into your subconscious mind, then you are not having to deal with resistance, right? If your best friend tells you a million times, you're a wonderful person, you're amazing, you're such a catch, but you've grown up maybe your whole life with people telling you something else, and your insecurities are shouting to you in a really loud way, you're going to have a lot of resistance to things that just come in as people are speaking to you, because they come in at the level of your conscious mind. But if you can listen to audios in your sleep, you're bringing those things past that resistance, you're not triggering that resistance, and it's bringing this healing in at a deep level to your subconscious mind pretty effortlessly, and you're not having to struggle against it. So you can start seeing changes really, really quickly. In fact, I've seen clients of mine, private one-on-one clients of mine, make changes with audios, self-hypnosis audios, some specific self-hypnosis audios, within days, like within the span of a week. What they were seeing at one time and what they see a week later is completely different, giant difference, huge changes. And they can be made in a very short amount of time if you begin to feed your subconscious mind these healing statements on a very deep level, regularly and consistently. A third way that you can do this is that you want to give your subconscious mind evidence that love for women over 40 exists. So how do you do that? You can create a dream board or a vision board with couples who look like they're around your age, with women who look like you. And what it's doing is it's giving your subconscious mind proof that it's possible. And when you give your subconscious mind proof that something is possible, it is very easy for it then to go to the next step, which is the belief that it's possible for you. So that's a really powerful way of doing that. All right, so that was number one, was about healing your insecurities about worthiness and attractiveness and age and being a single parent, if that's your situation. Now, another thing that you can do is you can start cleaning up your finances now. So if you feel like your finances are a little bit sloppy, or if it's an area of your life that you don't really look at, this is the time for you to start looking at that. And here's why. People who are good stewards of money and have an abundance mindset, those are the people who attract people who are good stewards of money and have an abundance mindset. So often I will have clients who want to know, they'll say, is it me being a gold digger if I want to have a partner who's wealthy, who's a good financial provider? And, that's a completely different video, but the short answer is no. And to connect to someone who is a good provider financially, we want to go back to some basics we understand about metaphysical laws. So you attract what you're matched to in energy. And so you want to be a good steward of your finances and have a good abundance mindset, even if your finances aren't that great right now, because the mindset and the energy are what's going to be attractive to the partner. That's what's going to help bring them into your life. So people who are good stewards of money attract other people who are good stewards of money, and that's a good thing. The second thing is you really need to be in a position to take excellent care of yourself regardless of your relationship situation, right? The only real freedom to love is if you are free to choose this other person. And you can't really be free to choose this other person if you feel like your entire livelihood and like day-to-day maintenance depends on this person financially. It makes it so that you can't really, you're not really your own person, and so you can't really choose this person. So that's one of the reasons. You're not, it doesn't feel like a choice. It feels like you have to be with them and that you don't have anything else that you can do. The third reason that you really want to clean up your finances now, if you haven't already, is in the same way that you're looking for a partner and not a project, so is an emotionally healthy man looking for a partner and not a project. He doesn't want to rescue you. He wants to have a partner, right? Now, that doesn't mean that he wouldn't want to take care of you financially if that's what you need. It means that he wants someone who doesn't think of herself as a victim who is in need of being rescued financially. You know, it's much better if you're both coming into this situation thinking of what you can give to each other and from a place of strong self-worth and self-confidence rather than that you're coming in as kind of a damsel in distress kind of a situation. So how do you do this? How do you clean up your finances if you haven't already? Well, one thing is you can know your numbers. And there are tons and tons of books about this, so I'm going to go through this part kind of quickly. But you can know your numbers. So you want to understand how much debt do you have exactly? What are your monthly expenses? You want to start tracking those kinds of things with an app or a spreadsheet and congratulate yourself on your progress as you're going along. 2, you want to educate yourself. So make an appointment with a financial advisor. Don't wait. Start now. Just do those kinds of things and start learning about investing through workshops and through books. Suze Orman is great at that. I'll link to some of her books in the description that are fantastic for this. The third thing is that you want to heal your money stuff on an energetic level. So your money stuff is tied to your love stuff, and they have roots in the same place because they're both about what you believe you deserve to have and what you will allow yourself to receive because of your worth, what you believe that your worth is. So what I've noticed often is that when my clients are doing their deep energetic healing work, what happens first is before they attract a soulmate, they actually attract financial breakthroughs. And there's a really interesting reason for that. And the reason is that when you start healing your self-esteem, when you start healing your beliefs about your own worthiness and what you deserve to have, most of us already have this law in our minds that says money is easier than love. So once you start healing your energy around what you deserve to have, the first area where you start to manifest breakthroughs is in money. Because a lot of times we say, well, love is hard, or love is for special people, or not everybody's going to get to have love. And we have these kinds of laws we've created. But we have laws about money and beliefs about money that say things like, I deserve to make money. I deserve to at least struggle in a crappy job to have enough money to put a roof over my head and food on my table. Right? So we have these beliefs that say no matter what, I at least deserve to not be starving on the streets, right? So it's much easier to manifest in terms of money once we heal some of those worthiness things. And that's where we start to see the first breakthroughs. And then we jump into breakthroughs that have to do with love. So that's all to do with getting your finances cleaned up if you haven't already. That's the second area. The third area that you want to work on if you are very serious about attracting your soulmate in your 40s and beyond is that you want to get very clear about the type of soulmate relationship that you want to have. So why do we want to do this? We want to do this because the manifesting laws, all of these metaphysical laws that have to do with manifesting, they work on specificity. They function based on how specific you are about what you want. So it's no good to just send out unformed longings and vague ideas, which is what Wallace Wattles calls that in the book The Science of Getting Rich, which you might want to check out. Because of that last point. He talks about how you have to be very, very specific about what you want. And we get conflicting advice about this from different metaphysical teachers. What I have found is that the more specific you are, the clearer you are, the faster the manifestation comes in and the more satisfying the manifestation is for you. So you definitely want to get clear about the kind of soulmate relationship that you want to have. Another reason why you want to be clear about that is that having a clear picture of what you want keeps you focused and it keeps you motivated. Because it's right there. The vision is right there. It's right there in front of you. You have somewhere that you're going. You have something you're moving toward. And it really helps you to keep going in that direction even when things are frustrating for you. Another reason that you really want to get clear about the kind of soulmate relationship that you want to have is that you have to be clear about it so you can recognize when this person shows up. Because if you're not clear about it, then you have a much higher chance of settling for Mr. Right now instead of being with Mr. Right. So, often as women are going through this work, as women are doing this work, they'll have a breakthrough and someone will manifest in their life. And it'll be maybe they've gone for 4 years without having a serious relationship, and then someone will come in that seems like a really a possible match. And so often, out of loneliness, out of sort of like emotional exhaustion, out of fears about getting older, women will choose to be with this person without thinking about how compatible they are based on their love list. And often it's because they're afraid of kind of like looking a gift horse in the mouth, right? When we look at the universe, they think like, well, this person came and nobody's been here for 4 years, so that must mean, they're supposed to be here. And what if I break it up? What if I break up with this person and then there's nobody ever again, right? And it's like, that's not what happens, but it's what we believe when we're in scarcity. So having a love list or having a clear picture of what you want to have is a really good way of making sure that you don't fall into that scarcity trap. So how do you get clear about the kind of soulmate relationship you want to have? First, you can write a love list like we mentioned, and I'll have a link to my playlist about how to manifest love with a love list because it's powerful stuff. There are 4 specific areas that you want to concentrate on, and there are some things that you want to do to prepare. And I've talked pretty much at length about that in those other videos, so I'll link to those in the description. A second thing to think about is use what you didn't like about the relationships that you've been in before when you're trying to create clarity. Use what you didn't like to get you clear on what you do want. So, for example, if your ex was a smoker and you really, really didn't like that, then in your love list you can say something like, he is free from unhealthy addictions, he is strong and healthy, he takes excellent care of his body, those kinds of things. The third idea for you to help you get clear about the kind of soulmate relationship you want to have is to use jealousy as a guide. Now, a lot of times jealousy is like a trigger for us. We see somebody who's doing better than us as we're scrolling on social media, or at least who looks like they're doing better than us. Because keep in mind, all social media should come with a caption underneath of it that's like, this is a curated version of the life that I wish that I had at the happiest moments, without showing my dirty socks or the fight that I just got into with my husband. You know what I mean? Like, all social media should say that underneath. This is me living my best life for a split second, slice of that. So a lot of times when we see those things in social media, we feel some kind of way about it, and we don't want to see that. We don't want to look at it. We don't focus on it, whatever it is. And the thing about it is, there's actually wisdom in that jealousy, that twinge of jealousy that you get, because what it's showing you is there's something about that picture that you want to have, but you don't feel like you have it yet, or on some level, you're denying yourself this. So use that for your love list. Like, say, for example, you have a friend whose husband supports her financially and she doesn't have to work. Like, maybe she works because she wants to and she just loves what she does and she doesn't have to work, right? And maybe you feel jealous about that. So you don't want to talk about it, or you don't want to see pictures of their vacation, or, you don't want to see, gifts he bought her or whatever. The thing about it is, instead of choosing to respond in that way, consider thinking, okay, what am I looking at here that I want to create for myself? Maybe I want to have a partner who treats me in the same way, and then you can put that in your love list. All right, so as a final word about this, please don't worry about statistics or anything like that. Please don't even look at them, because it's like, if statistics say, 36% of women in this part of the country or whatever, have a chance of getting married, whatever the thing is, you don't need there to be 100 women and 100 men. You only need your person, right? And you increase the likelihood and the speed of them showing up in your life by doing these things that we've talked about in this video today. So in the meantime, just stay away from these doomsday coaches or these doomsday gurus who tell you things that like erode your self-confidence and make you feel less than and make you feel unworthy, and instead focus on healing your insecurities, cleaning up your finances, and getting super clear on your picture for what the relationship is that you want to bring into your life. So now I want to hear from you. Which of these 3 areas are you the most excited to dive into and to begin to use so that you can start to see the results that you want in your love life? And if you like this video, then remember to like it and to share and subscribe. And remember, self-love is the best love. So love you first, love you best, and all other kinds of love will flow to you. Take care.